Oh, actually, good time for slash marker too. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's continue, shall we? Where were we? We're doing the, right after this. Get that out by yourself. Dun, 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 dun.
You all got a good look at it, did you not?
We'll get a quick save. Let's keep going for the flawless.
By Robo-Justice?
In both cases, I messed up once, right? As I misread the dialogue. I interpreted it a different way. And then the first one we did that, and the second one I wanted to get the don't use your slowed down time meter, and I did it on accident. Now I do forget how to copy a thought, so meant to load the save again. I think you have to hold in Y, but I could be wrong. That's what I believe it is.
So, I wonder if he died, or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
It is Y, okay.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that he flew while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after. So, I wonder if he... Or perhaps it was after. We already know what order they were killed.
No, that's wrong.
No, that's wrong.
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers. If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
The watch and then the washed off hammer. Dude, I hate this. It's the wristwatch. How do you do it? May I have an H? Thank you.
Now I understand.
Now I understand.
I've got it. Taka's wristwatch. See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night...
Hey, you know how long you're gonna keep us waiting? Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he stared pointedly at his wristwatch. Almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the little boys and girls.
So if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder. But all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
Nope. What was that? It came from downstairs, it must have been. Hifumi, he's in the nurse's office. This is bad, come on, we can go back.
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway.
In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain
Don't
his body
spam bullets!
And according to what Celeste said,
Not being off more than a minute or two, though. So the killer was able to get in and move from his body in that short amount of time. It would seem so.
his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What? How?
If the dead body were to move itself.
The dead body moved on its own?
No! Not another... ghost!
He
I
committed.
don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is... we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
He was alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
Or do you have Hifumi still alive? Is it really possible? Yes.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we
First found Hifumi in the nurse's office,
We can't save, so.
there's a chance he was
No, it is
impossible? Hifumi was dead, and you know that.
surely you heard the body discovery announcement. Hifumi's dead body had been.
No, it's wrong. Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty.
Huh?
He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
Second body discovery announcement. First time I played when we found each body in the nurse's office in the equipment room. Second one was when we found them inside the, they were rediscovered.
Got it! We heard it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the 2 bodies.
Our body has been discovered. After a certain amount of time, which you will use however you like, the class trial will begin.
It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
And in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
God haven't cleaned his dang glasses.
I know! Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom!
God, you're good.
That is the worst logic I have ever heard. But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body.
Phone call. Alright, oh my bad.
Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
Pointless.
Has to be proved that it shows if Fumi was still alive, but I had to find it to show it everyone. Fumi's glasses.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom,
Yeehaw!
his body disappeared.
Oh,
And
frick,
the
man.
next time we
I didn't know
saw
they
his
pierced.
body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned,
What are you talking about?
Shoot!
Shoot! I'm gonna let this save.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office.
And then, his body disappeared.
and the next time it was in the
But when you compare his body before, other than the change, there was no...
notable difference.
No, it's wrong. In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the
System
repository.
load. That button. Danganronpa. That's what I'm saying. I get ahead of myself and choose the wrong option. I misinterpreted. To me, I'm like, that's good enough. Which one is this?
So...
Oh, we're back here, huh? Should've saved it.
We already know Taka came...
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that he flew while Taka's dead.
What's the numbering of the Justice Hammers?
Obvious Taka came after... So, I wonder if he died, or perhaps it was after.
We already know what order they were
Kill Taka came last.
What the frick?
Because of the number...
It's true that he flew while Taka's dead.
I gotta go.
So it's obvious Taka came after...
I'm just fast forwarding, not make it shoot faster.
Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were
Oh my gosh.
Shoot!
Shoot. Danganronpa.
It
It's
didn't
new
seem
Pikachu.
weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
then in reality, when the two dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
Sorry.
And that's
Make your argument.
So
Fumi's
here's when
glasses.
the first time we found his, and then his body
And the next time it was in.
But when you compare his body before, other than the changing,
There was no notable difference.
Skirt.
no, that's wrong.
Why is he so frightened? You're pretty much in the clear. Yaso.
In fact, there was one clear difference between
As a
Hifumi
hero?
in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses
What a
were covered
wide
with
mouth.
blood.
Or open mouth. It's
But
an
when
actual
we found
dribble.
him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can.
Evidence I found in the trash can.
I got it!
Got it.
It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
the character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
Do you remember that?
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is... What exactly?
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
Then it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
What a way to with words there, Kyoko.
If he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere. But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done. God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
I got it!
Taka himself.
It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
Please ask me to show the full page and not the rip the piece. Go ahead, Fumihead.
I got it!
I got it!
You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his pants?
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
Found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find now, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's see in the me in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
Ah, that's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait.
It's a little different.
This one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been...
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
I got it! That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy!
What about TikTok?
Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right? Ugh! Yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Inside Jill. Seriously scary, but still. And then get to me. Broken wristwatch, Fumi's glasses, glasses cleaning cloth. How do you cycle again? Ah. Let me learn how to cycle real quick. Okay. I can't quit yet. What did you say to me?
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter. The note has nothing to do with TikTok.
It's the wristwatch, but okay. I need to quit. Might as well make sure it's that before I...
Then the person it was, it must have been Huffy. But remember, what time did it... 6 a.m. The time doesn't matter. The note has nothing to do with TikTok.
Son of gun. I have to unmap my
What
RB.
time did it 6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter.
Blast.
The note has nothing to do with TikTok.
Did I miss? Jesus. Let's go for our laps.
Puppy had the note, then the person it was, it must have been Happy.
But remember, what time did it 6 a.m.
What's the mechanic in all the
The note
games?
has nothing to do with TikTok.
Okay, go far right.
Puppy had the note, then the person it was, it must have been Happy.
But remember,
Then we'll reload the
time
save.
did it 6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter. The note has nothing to do with TikTok.
There you go. Okay, we'll reload
Yo,
the save.
what's wrong?
Not hit our focus meter and ruin that
Yo,
achievement.
There absolutely is a connection.
Oh man, load. Last trial phase 8. Do it. Continue. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Puppy had the note, right? Then the person it was, it must have been Happy.
But
Must have been
remember,
Huffy.
what time did it 6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter. The note has nothing to do with TikTok.
No, that's wrong. No, there absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note
I do love
said
how
to meet
Makoto
at
keeps getting
6
more and more
a.m.,
room.
which is the
Like he's the
same time
mastermind.
Taka was
Trying to
murdered.
get more breathing space.
We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was
Celeste's
definitely
tutor
meant
is
for
right,
Taka.
right? So she's next to go.
Well, when you put it like that.
No further objections.
Still the employee to have more room.
Then someone used that note
Oh, that
to
was Jill,
kill
never mind.
Taka. Just the same as me. Ugh. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Stuffed down his pants, no less.
Most likely. Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
Proof that Ifumi stole the note from Taka.
I got it! When I
Dunka
searched
dunka.
Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive!
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
The true killer.
He was killed in the repository, so he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
I'm gonna dig at him every time he speaks.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
More power to your brother.
I don't understand it either.
Well, y'all don't
Monokuma
investigate,
file makes it
so shut
clear
up.
that they were killed using similar instruments. But if
Like an
the
elbow.
hammers were already laying around those other rooms,
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Doesn't
Those
matter.
were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill
You
someone.
can kill someone with one of those thinking mallets, if it was wood. Put enough hump in it.
Then,
Is it not possible
What's
they
that?
used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
I have
so
the
then,
ingredient already.
what was used to kill?
Well, picture centering this case won't become clear until we figure things out. I have the truth. I have the thing, that spotless hammer. Okay,
What was used to kill Hifumi?
I hate these,
Was
man.
it Justice Hammer 3?
Did we do it on this one? Because like spotless hammer was used to kill.
well, whatever it is, one, how was the culprit able, how did nobody witness that? Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make. Check out murdergear.com.
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the and
There we go.
No.
That was a risky shot, but had to be, was no.
The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We're talking about a reason why there wouldn't be one for them to work together. At least that's what we thought at first, but... Make your argument. Spotless number. Yes.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules that have even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really,
In this case, however, there were two murders.
I believe this is what we do here.
Based on the rules, even if more than one,
Only the one who actually carried out, assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible
that two people,
That is.
but that only really,
In this case, however, there were two murders.
based on the rules,
even if more than one, only the one who actually carried out the, assuming the rule holds true. It is
There we go.
No, that's wrong.
No, that's wrong. Before we do any more though, I do have to use the bathroom.
Since there were two murders, it's at least
So I'll
possible
just
that
be
more
how it
than
is.
one person was involved.